Let me share my screen. Right. So yeah. So we are in the discussion of Ansible. We have seen Ansible introduction, and we have seen how to integrate Ansible master with agent, and we have seen Ansible some commands like ping module, right? Some modules we have seen M module, right? So we have seen Ansible intro, and we have seen Ansible, right? What is Ansible, right? And Ansible introduction. So why, right? So the how to integrate Ansible master with Ansible agent, how to integrate master with agent, okay? And we have seen, right? We have seen Ansible commands, right? Commands, and we have seen Ansible playbooks, right? So let's discuss the important component called Ansible rules, right? So Ansible playbooks, as I said, it's nothing but a simple file having lot of tasks. So here you in the playbook you're mentioning some tasks, right? Tasks. But what is Ansible rule? So collection of task is nothing but a Ansible playbook. But what is Ansible rule? It's nothing but collection of playbooks. You know, right? Ansible playbook having different sections. It is having which host it should be connected. It is having which variable you want to execute, which task you want to execute. It is having some handler section, right? One task will execute another task if the first task is successful, right? So different sections are there. So, but coming to Ansible role, what we are doing, we are using these different sections as a different playbooks. We are using these different sections as a different playbooks. Okay. So, which host you want to connect? We will make this is a main playbook in Ansible role. Main playbook. And there is a separate playbook. Task, there is a separate playbook. Handlers, there is a separate playbook. For everything, we'll have a separate playbooks. Okay, in Ansible roles. So Ansible role, right? Ansible role is nothing but it's a collection of playbooks. Collection of playbooks. So Ansible role is a collection of playbook. Ansible, right? Ansible playbook is nothing but a collection of tasks, right? So let's see some roles. So this is a repository, Ansible roles repository. Here I kept some important roles which can be useful for you. Okay, so these are some roles folders. Okay, these are some roles folders, important roles related folders, important roles related folders. Okay, so as I said, Ansible role is nothing but collection of playbooks. For example, if you see each section, handler section has separate folder, task section separate folder, variable section separate folder. If you go to variable section, here there is a main.ml file. Here there are some password related information, secret related information. And if you see task section, there is a separate playbook called main.ml file. Okay, so this one, templates having some files, handlers having one file, main.ml file, right? So the right the right the Ansible role is nothing but collection of playbooks. If you observe here, right, if you observe here, so task section having separate folder main.ml file. Here there are different tasks, right? So Ansible role is for reusability. You can reuse your data. You can use your data. If you have your information in variable section, you can use this variable section information in your tasks. For example, there is a port 8090. This port I'm using in the main.ml file. You see HTTP. If you wherever you see in right in the Ansible in the curly brackets means it's a variable. HTTP port is a variable. But what about this HTTP port value in the variable section? Here it is mentioned. That means 8090 will come and sit here, right? Anyway, let's see one by one playbook. So let's create one server. Let me install Ansible, and also I will show you how to install Jenkins also. Okay, here I mentioned Jenkins installation commands as well. I will show you how to install Jenkins as well. So number of instances are one. This is my server. Yeah, it will connect. I will show you how it will connect it. Okay. So Ansible server it is. Okay. So yeah. So Amazon Linux. Let me go with the second, right? AMI 2000, right? This one, right? So and 1 GB RAM. Okay. I will use existing password. I will open all the ports because I want to show some examples. I will install Tomcat, I will install Nginx, I will install Jenkins, right? I will show the installation. So that's why, okay. Number of instances are one, okay. I will open all the ports because I want to show you some testing. So instead of only SSH, I will open all the ports, okay. Launch. So yeah, Rashid, it will use one main.ml file, main file. Okay, that's how it will get integrated. So if you have this structured format, okay, structured format, it will be integrated. Okay, how it will be integrated, you can see use on main.ml file. I will show that. So this is Ansible server. Let me connect to this. Let me become the root user. Let me install FL releases. Let's install Ansible next. Let's change your right main configuration file of Ansible and update your host file with your master information and generate the SSH key, right? Then take your ID or as a public key and copy it to authorized keys. Okay, take this key. So copy two times. Let me copy only one time. Update your SSH config file. service start, right? Restart, sorry, right? So now if you verify Ansible master hyphen m ping, yes, let me check. I'm able to connect. That means I'm able to ping, right? So these are the playbooks. So let's download each play, right? Playbooks, copy. But before that, install software called Git, right? Then only you can download that. And also install one software called Tree. Okay, what is Tree? I will explain, but let's install it. Right now, let's clone that. Let's go to some OPT location. Right. Let's go inside the Ansible roles folder. Right. So we have installed Apache and we have installed apache.yaml. There are two files, right? Install Apache, install apache.yaml file, and install Jenkins, and there is one jenkins.yaml file, and install PHP, and there is one install php.yaml file. Okay, so we install tree. So tree is helpful to see the folder structure. If you see install like an Apache structure, so install Apache folder. Inside there is a handler folder. Inside of the handler folder there is a main.yaml file. There is one more folder called task.yaml file, task folder. In that there is a main.yaml file. Okay, so right, so Ansible, right? So Ansible, this is a structure of a playbook, structure of a role, Ansible role. So this is install Apache role. This is having some right, that structure handler folder having some file, task folder having some. But what is there inside the files? Let's see. If you see install Apache, right? So here there is a handler folder, right? In the handler folder, you can see main.yaml. What is it having? So main.yaml file having, right, handlers. You know, handler is useful for starting a particular task based on another task, right? So here restart HTTPD service HTTPD start enabled is yes. Some task is there under main.yaml file of handlers. But you know, handlers when they get executed using notifier. So under task folder, right, there is a main.yaml file. Here what you are doing, you are trying to install Apache server using m HTTPD you are installed. Latest version you are installed. So as I said, if you install any service, any software, you have to start that, right? HTTP, you have to start it. So here what you are doing, notify restart HTTP. So here this notify will look for this handler folder and it is checked for that main.yaml file. If this name is matching, restart HTTP name is matching, then the particular service get executed. So here what you are doing basically, you have two files, task main.yaml file, handlers main.yaml file. So main.yaml file of handler having service starting, and this task main.yaml file having installing HTTP. But when you will start a service, once a software is installed, and once HTTP is installed, then only you need to start a service, right? If you didn't, right? If you didn't install, no need, right? No need of starting the service because software itself not installed. Okay, if you see, for example, systemctl start HTTP. What is the error getting? Unit not found. That means HTTP is not there, right? So if you install, for example, install HTTP, right? I have installed. Now, if I start the service, it gets started, right? So what? Right? Let me remove this because we will use Ansible role to install this. Okay, let me remove it. So now if you observe, right? So here you have handler section, you have task section, but where you will mention which group you want to connect, there is a main playbook outside. Main playbook outside, not inside that folder. Okay, outside there is a file, main.ml file. You can see install Apache main.ml file. Within that, you are mentioning. So yes, as Rashid, right? Rashid, you are asking, right? So there you are calling that. Yes, here you are calling. You're right. Earlier in your playbooks, you're mentioning tasks and task names, but here you're calling role, and you have to mention which role. Install Apache. That means this folder. Okay, this folder it will go, and it will first execute the task main.ml file. This task main.ml file will look for the other folders, other files. And which group you are trying to execute this? All groups. If you have more groups, it will get executed on all the groups. And become s means becoming a root user. Becoming a root user. So becoming the root user. Okay, becoming the root user. So let me execute this. If you want to execute this, you can use same Ansible hyphen playbook. But which playbook you need to execute? This main playbook. Install hyphen Apache. So install Apache.yaml file. Okay, underscore Apache.yaml. Right. So it is changed. That means installed, and it is started. Now if you see service status, it is running. It is running. So if you want to verify whether it is installed or not, copy the IP, check with 80. Right? Apache is installed. Right? So the Ansible structure will be like this. But what is the full structure? How you will know that? So if you want to see the full structure of this, so you have to use one of the software called Ansible Galaxy. So what this Ansible Galaxy will, which will provide a rough, for example, if you want a Kubernetes Galaxy, this is just a name, okay? If you Ansible Galaxy init Kubernetes, which will create a complete folder locally. You can see, okay? It will have a empty files, okay? Nothing will be there inside, just a empty files. All these are okay. If you see Kubernetes default having main.ml file. This is complete structure of your role. So Ansible Galaxy will provide you complete structure of your role, complete structure of a role. Okay. So Ansible Galaxy will provide you a complete structure of a role. Okay. So what it is having? It is having defaults having main.ml file, files. So if you have any important files, you can keep it under files folder. If you have any default values, you can keep it under main.ml file. You have a handlers folder where you will provide your right required services information. If you have any default values, same metadata. You have readme.md file. This readme.md file is helpful to provide why this role is okay. Tasks having main.ml file. Templates. If you want to copy some files, you can keep it in the file section or template section. And you have test. If you want to run some test cases, test playbooks, and you have var section. So if you have any variable to use, right? So can you note down the structure? Okay, just note down. right? Let's have one more playbook. Okay, so we have install PHP playbook role. Sorry, PHP role. So what is this? So we have PHP role. It is having only one folder called task folder only. So here you are trying to install required PHP softwares. You know, we already know with items. So here we are trying to install multiple softwares. So here, how we are calling this? We are calling by main playbook. The main playbook is install PHP. So this playbook, if you see, having two roles attached. So if you want to attach, if you want to run two roles also, you can keep like this. Okay. So here you're installing PHP, you're installing Apache because Apache is a dependency for PHP. Okay. So if you see, PHP is backend and Apache is a frontend. So if you want to execute, same Ansible hyphen playbook, and it will get execute, right? You have to install, you have to run the PHP, right? So let's run PHP. Right, if you want to verify whether PHP is installed or not, you can use PHP -v is a command to check the version. Right, PHP is installed. If you want to see PHP this version of PHP is installed. Okay, right, right. So right, so you can use, right. So two roles like this, right? You can use two roles like this. Right. So we have one more important playbook, guys. That is installing Nginx. Okay. To install Nginx, you need to uninstall the uninstall the HTTP. Let me uninstall it. Yum remove HTTP. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. You have uninstalled this. So now let's try to use the Nginx role. What the Nginx role is having? If you see, it is having file section, having one index.html file, having some, this is Raju DevOps with AWS, some information in this index.html file, and you have handler section. You're trying to start the Nginx, but if you see that there is information called within the curly brackets. Within the curly brackets means it will be a variable, right? So service variable. That means if you see in the var section, there is a main.ml file. Service variable is Nginx. That means this Nginx service value will come and it will be called here. Okay, and we have one more folder, task folder. Within the task folder will be the tasks, right? You can see you're trying to install Nginx using shell command, right? You're trying to install Nginx and you're trying to start the service using notifier. Notifier means it will go to the handlers and it will start that particular service. And you have one more task, that is copying index.html file to which folder? Users share nginx html folder. Okay, so that means, so once you copied a file also, you need to start the service. That's why we are going to here, right? Restart. So now let me execute this. So there is a nginx yaml file, ansible hyphen playbook. There is a nginx dot ansible hyphen playbook nginx dot yaml. So if you want to verify, you need to take the public IP and you have to check with it. But let's wait. It get installed. Let's wait. It is installed. If you want to verify, you can click on it. right? The message called some this is Raju DevOps with AWS, right? So you can try these things. So we have very important playbooks I mentioned here. One is Tomcat, another one is Jenkins, right? So just keep an eye on this. So Tomcat. So let's go with Tomcat. Okay. So this is very important. So if you observe here, this Tomcat role having files folder. Okay, this files folder having one script which is helpful to start the service of the Tomcat. Okay, this is the script. And handler section having main.ml file. Here we are starting the Tomcat. Here we are starting the IP tables. But when this will be executed using notifier, if you see, there is one more templates folder. Here there are some important files, IP table save and server.xml. Okay, here if you observe, there is a information in curly brackets. If you see, right, that means HTTP port, right? There is some information here also, right, in curly brackets. So right, wherever your curly brackets information there, it will be a variable. If you see, go to var section, main.ml file, there is a HTTP port 8090 and HTTPS port 8443. That means not only within the task you can call your variable, you can call within a file also. Okay, within your files also. Okay, so these files we will copy to inside the server particular location. And you have your main file, main.ml file having admin username, admin password. That means this file you're calling these values. If you see, you go extreme down. What is your username? Tomcat username. So you are editing this file. This is main important file for Tomcat, okay, which will have username and password. This is also your hardcore. You're adding some values. Username is admin, password is admin secret. You can see username, admin password. Okay, but what about our tasks? Let's go to your task file. Your task file having different tasks. If you want to use Jenkins, you need to if you want to use Tomcat, you have to install Java. That's why installing Java. And we are trying to add some group, Tomcat group, and we are trying to add some Tomcat user, and we are becoming a root user to do this. Okay, and you're trying to download Tomcat software, and you're trying to extract that software. You're creating some system links. Okay, so right, and you're trying to change the ownership of the files. And here, if you see, you're trying to copy some files. This server.xml file, this file from your source, that means from current role, and you're copying to which location, this user share tomcat conf location, and you're copying one more file, tomcat users file under this conf location, and you're copying your init script. That means this files under init script, you're copying to which location, some init script location, and you're trying to start the tomcat, and you're wait for the tomcat to start. Which port to wait? HTTP port. That means it is mentioned already in curly brackets 8090. So now let's execute. So Ansible hyphen playbook tomcat dot m. The main playbook is here. Okay, if you see, right, you're becoming the root user, you're running on a master, which role you're executing? Tomcat. It's trying to install Java 1.7. You can check with IP address 8090. Right? Click on manager app. Username is, already, admin. Password is admin secret, right? You can see the Tomcat. This is your Tomcat, where your web application server, where you will host your application. Okay, you will copy your application. Okay, so right, so this is how you will install Tomcat. Okay, so right, so the Tomcat files under user share Tomcat. Okay, here are the configuration files of Tomcat. Okay, so similarly, let's try to install Java, right? Jenkins. So this is Jenkins role. Okay, having only two folders in that. One is task folder, having main.ml file. Another one is handlers folder, use it to start the Jenkins. So what are the tasks here? If you want to install Jenkins, you need to install Java, and you cannot directly install Jenkins. If you see, if you run m install Jenkins, which will not be directly come, because there is a folder should be there under etc m dot repos dot. In this folder there will be a, in this m dot repo there will be a Jenkins repo, then only it will be. So that's why we are downloading that m dot jenkins dot repo file, and we are copying it to the server. And if you want to access this repo, you need to have some keys. That's why we are adding some keys. And finally, you're starting the service. Here you're seeing notifier means it will go to the handlers, and it will get that, it will get execute this task. Let me execute. So Ansible hyphen playbook jenkins.ml. So the Jenkins will run on the port called 8080. So actually Tomcat port also 8080 only. Okay, and Jenkins port also same. We cannot use same port on, right, same port at a time for two applications. That's why what I did for Tomcat, I changed the port number to 8090, right? So but actually both ports are same. Okay, for the Jenkins and Tomcat, say ports are same. Now you are installing Jenkins. If you see, yeah. So sometimes, right, sometimes it will get failed. So let me check the Java. Okay, Java hyphen version, version, Java version. So it is calling 1.7. Okay, but it should be used one, right? It should use which version? It should use 11th version of Java. Okay, so how we can change? Okay, how we can change the Java version? You can use a command. Let me provide you. Sorry. Yeah. So sudo update alternatives of config Java. Okay, you have to change to second. Okay, second is Java 11 version. Okay, now it is changed. Now if you see Java version 11th. Now if you run the same role, it will not have nothing. It will not do anything. Let me start it directly. Okay, systemctl start Jenkins. Now it is getting started. You can see IP address. You can take and you can go with 8080. It is trying to start. Let's wait. Right, it is getting started. So here you can see, let's right, interview questions for Docker, interview questions for Git, and interview questions for Ansible, right? So Kubernetes. So a lot of things are there, AWS interview questions. So please prepare all these. Okay. Let me give you the link here. Interview questions. I hope everyone having access. If not, please try to click on it and ask for a access. So right. So this is Jenkins. Okay, Jenkins, you need to unlock it. The password, unlock password is under this location. Var lib Jenkins secrets initial admin password. Let me copy this. Let me use cat to display the password. This is the password. Copy, paste, continue. Right. So these are some plugins. What is plugin? What is Jenkins? We'll discuss in tomorrow class. So any doubts? Any questions?
Sir, this is Rashid here.
Yes.
Yeah, so for example, if a company is planning to do a very big e-commerce application, so they will use all these technologies like Kubernetes, Jenkins, Tomcat, Ansible, whatever it is. They will apply all this, or they will select. They depend upon their requirements. How it will be happen?
Yeah, so each tool will be different. Okay, each tool will be different. Okay, so each tool usage is different. For example, if Ansible is there, Puppet is there, Chef is there, right?
Yeah.
So organization will select one from this. Okay, for example, Ansible. Okay, so similarly, Jenkins, not only Jenkins in the market, some other like Circle CI. Okay, so Circle CI, some tools are there. Okay, so majorly used is Jenkins. That's why we are choosing Jenkins also for the training. So so in organization level, so coming to your question, so in the organization level, right? So some company will approach. For example, this is a company, okay, called some HSBC or some company, okay, approached a IT company for a website. Okay, so for a website, for a application, or whatever it is. Okay,
Mm.
so what the IT company will do, right? They will ask their requirement. Okay, they will ask their requirement and they will show their uh, right, the structure what they want to go. So for example, so they, for example, this is the, as I said, HSBC. So this is nothing but the client, or I can say IT company. So right, so they will tell some rough idea. So you need some application, guys, right? So what this company will tell that, okay, if you want to achieve this, so we have an approach. So we don't have any physical servers. Yes, we can go for a AWS. That's what they said. So within the AWS, okay, your HSBC users are some 200. Okay, that's what, for example, their users are some 200 users of HSBC, and they said, okay, so your application, okay, you can go for a some Java based application because your application is banking related. So Java will be the good one. So that, so, and they also check that they have Java developers or not. Okay, and they will say that, okay, so for your 200 users, so we need some three application servers and one database server for the transactions. Okay, so and okay, So this is some database, and we have to monitor your server. So for that, we are using some AWS services. Okay, so fine. So you have the cloud. In the cloud, you have created a server. Not only will create a servers, you will create a VPC. For example, this is VPC, right? So you will create a VPC. You will create some servers. You will create some S3 bucket. This is some RDS. This is some S3 bucket. Okay, so you have created some S3 bucket, right? All these you will create manually? No. So for creation, for maintaining, you will use one Terraform server. So here your Terraform usage will come. Okay, Terraform. Okay, your servers are ready. Your servers are ready for installing the application. Okay, so where these Java developers uploads the code, they will upload the code in a GitHub, for example. Okay, so the code will be under GitHub. Okay, so the code is in GitHub, but how you will get this code? You will get the code from a Jenkins server. This is some Jenkins. Okay, you will get the code from Jenkins GitHub, and the Jenkins will release the changes to your servers. Okay, fine. So you are installing the application, but some important required softwares are needed. How you will install? There will be a Ansible server. So from the Ansible server, you will install, for example, the servers. You want to run Java application. That means Java installed, right? You have to install Java. So you are using Ansible to install. So for creating for creating the servers, creating the servers, you are using Terraform. For right, for code maintenance, like code, right, code repositories, GitHub, and you are using Ansible for the configuration. That means there are softwares, right? So you are using Ansible for the configuration, CM. Okay, configuration management tool called Ansible. And for CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery, right, for delivering the application, you are using some the Jenkins, right? So here the complete infrastructure where you are creating the infrastructure completely under AWS, right?
Sir, then Kubernetes were
Yeah, Kubernetes where it comes if these servers are micro servers. Okay, so right, this will be a direct application. Okay, so sometimes few companies are having micro server application, that is Jenkins, that is different the different way. Okay, that's what I said. So Kubernetes, when it will be used, it will be used in the microservers.
microservices. There is some
Okay,
one term that I already know, the microservices applications. So
right.
that time Kubernetes we will
Yeah.
prefer.
So that,
Yeah.
as I said, I think you guys followed the recording. So Kubernetes, you are right. You can learn it, but the especially Kubernetes will take 3 months. Okay, so if you want, you can learn that. So what are the Kubernetes 3 hours almost? That is, you can keep 2 years experience in the resume. Only Kubernetes keep 2 years. Remaining you can keep 4+ years of experience. Okay, so why I'm mentioning 2 years of Kubernetes? If you can mention four, not a problem, but you cannot manage the interview with that. At least you have to spend 3 months only for Kubernetes. So for this, the 3 hours or 4 hours classes, which are enough for managing 2 years. So 2 years, right? What you can do? Troubleshooting things and setting the agents. So and running some files, pods. Okay, just see that. Okay, so this is a right, this is a kind of applications you will execute. So in coming days in the Jenkins projects, okay, so we will see this infrastructure setup, and for example developer uploads the code, how it automatically run the Jenkins job, how the Jenkins is set up, how the pipeline, so how this Jenkins will be running, how it is know that what are the files are created in that. Okay, we'll see. And also right, and also how you will integrate Jenkins with the Docker. Okay, and how you integrate Jenkins with Ansible or Jenkins with Terraform. Okay, so you'll not directly run Terraform init, Terraform plan, Terraform commands, right? You'll not directly run those.
Mm.
You will use Jenkins. Okay,
Right, right.
okay. So there are some other tools also, right? Sonar Cube, that is for code checking. Okay, that will be also part of Jenkins only. Okay, so how it will be integrated in Jenkins? Okay, that will be in coming days. Okay, yeah. So right, so if you want to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot. So if you have any other doubts, let me know.
No,
What
sir.
we will do, we will have Jenkins tomorrow, and also we have Jenkins with along projects on Saturday. If anything is there, we can take one more day, any day, no problem. But mostly Saturday, we'll have the bunch of things. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys. So please make sure you're stopping the server after the practical. Okay, deleting the server of the practical. We will see Jenkins tomorrow, which is very very interesting. Don't miss it. So we will meet tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.